Big breaking news coming in. Pakistan is in a catch-22 situation after anti-France resolution. In fact, a video is doing the rounds on social media of a TV series telecast on a Chinese state-run TV channel CCTV, wherein an Arab ambassador can be seen gifting a portrait of the Prophet Mohammad to a Chinese emperor. So while there's outrage against France, while Pakistan says France encourages Islamophobia and demands ban on French products, it is extremely tight-lipped and silent on China. Let me go across to our senior editor Pradeep Datta joining us on the broadcast now. Pradeep, there's outrage against France. Pakistan says France encourages Islamophobia, but not a word of condemnation against China.
That, in fact, only highlights the hypocrisy and the duplicity of Imran Khan. In fact, more than Islamophobia, it is in Imran-phobia and army-phobia in Pakistan. That's why we are seeing unrest and crisis. People are out on street. They are raising slogans against Imran Khan and Pakistan Army. So far as the case of the France is concerned, in fact, 2 days back, they passed a resolution that was brought in by Shah Mohammad Qureshi. They wanted that they are going to call their envoy from France. While as the reality is that was the biggest ever embarrassment. It was so hilarious that for the last 3 months there is no envoy. Everybody has been asking questions that why you are trying to befool your own countrymen by passing such resolution when you are not aware of the facts that for the last 3 months there is no envoy in France. And now they are trying to rake up this issue of Islamophobia. Reason being, one, they are trying to divert attention from problem back home. Second, they are trying to in fact generate sympathy wave for Imran Khan. And Imran Khan is trying to be the leader of the Muslim world and also a messiah of peace. In reality, everybody knows the world all over is suffering because of the Islamist terrorism and the
yes, but what about that or rake up that issue? Stay on with us, Pradeep. We are now joined by Arsalan Hidayat, General Secretary of the Uyghur Revival Association, who in fact posted this video from this TV series which is telecast on a China state-run channel. Arsalan Hidayat, in this particular video, a portrait of Prophet Muhammad can be clearly seen. Is this not blasphemy according to Pakistan?
Not just according to Pakistan, it should be blasphemy to all Muslims. I'm a Muslim myself, and I find this blasphemous. What's very hypocritical is leaders like Imran Khan and the Turkish president will condemn France on certain remarks of Islamophobia if that's the criteria for boycotting French and wanting to call back an envoy from that country. Then what about the millions currently in concentration camps, a country that is bordering with Pakistan, and Imran Khan says he has no idea what's going on? People are going to these concentration camps because of Islam. One of the main reasons for praying, for having a bead, for having hijab. People are dying from starvation, from torture, from rape, from sterilization. I interviewed one concentration camp detainee, and she told me that one of the concentration camp detainees was urinated on. And one of the guards said, "Don't you Muslims wash yourselves before you pray?" And they said, "Wash yourself with this urine." So is that not blasphemy? Is that not going against the Prophet?
But are you really shocked or surprised by Pakistan's silence when it comes to China? Because so far we've not ever heard Pakistan, in fact, calling out China for Islamophobia, or even speaking about or expressing concerns about the plight of Uyghur Muslims in China.
Well, they should be, shouldn't they? A country that borders with them. We've seen Pakistan become a client state of China, picking money over religion, picking economy over Allah and His Prophet. So this is all fake. And when you talk to people, for my Muslim brothers and sisters, I am a Muslim. If we are going to boycott France, why aren't we going to boycott Chinese products? Every time you do,
stay on with us. We also have some more breaking inputs coming in on the broadcast at this point in time. In fact, Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has now written to leaders of Muslim states to act collectively to counter the growing Islamophobia in non-Muslim states. But clearly, he has failed to mention the situation of Uyghur Muslims in China and the deteriorating situation of minorities in his own country. He is urging Muslim world to come together to counter the Islamophobia narrative, Shehzad. But what about Islamophobia in China? What about China's duplicity? What about the atrocities on Uyghur Muslims in China? Let me quickly take an update from Pradeep before I come across to you, Shehzad, and to Arslan as well. Pradeep, over to you.
In fact, rightly said by the person from China. He said a short while back he was talking to you. He said that it's more about economy over Allah. It's all about Prophet over Prophet Mohammad. And see, this man who is trying to project himself as the leader of Ummah, he has failed to in fact look at the problems, persecution, starvation, difficulties that Uyghur Muslims are facing at the hands of China, how they are being maltreated. But Imran Khan has turned a blind eye. He will not be talking about these Muslims. In fact, he'll always try to invoke Islamophobia in India. In fact, nobody will ever insult Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in India, or anybody else. Even not a government will allow this thing to happen. But this is openly happening on Chinese media. But Imran Khan will not be uttering about, because for him the money is important. So what kind of Islamic leader he is? First, the Islamic countries should ask him this question, that before writing a letter to take a collective stand against Islamophobia, you should speak out against the problems being faced by the Uyghur Muslims. Are they not the Muslims? Are they not the one who believe in Allah? Are they not the one who believe in the preachings of Prophet Muhammad? But no. For Imran Khan, it's all about money, because everybody knows that Pakistan has turned into a clientele state. Earlier, it used to be United States of America. Now it is a China that has almost occupied not only mindset, but also
for Pakistan, Shehzad, which is profit over profit. That seems to be the situation, isn't it? That's why Pakistan is mum, extremely tight-lipped. It can only spot Islamophobia in France, and he can talk about India, but not China.
Absolutely, and what this also shows is that Islamophobia या कश्मीर ये केवल बहाना है इमरान खान को सत्ता बचाना है. Imran Khan is facing great domestic troubles at home, and therefore he's pulled out the Allah card, he pulls out the Prophet card, and then he pulls out the Kashmir card. But here you have Arsalan Hidayat with you, and I'm sure he'll tell you that what is happening to the Muslims in China is something if Imran Khan ignores, then how can he even claim to be an Islamic nation or a leader of all the Muslims in the world? I mean, we should hear it from Arsalan, the kind of genocide China.
Arslan, over to you. Throw some more light on the situation of Uyghur Muslims in China that Pakistan completely chooses to avoid speaking on.
First of all, I want to mention that the correspondent put it perfectly. I love that headline, profit over profit. The main reason a lot of these Uyghurs are going into these concentration camps is for their Islam, for the practice of Islam. And when they do go into these concentration camps, as I mentioned before, they are being tortured. They are told to renounce the religion, that there is no Allah, telling everyone that there is no Allah and that their Allah, that their Lord is Xi Jinping, that they are told to renounce Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Their organs are harvested and sold to the highest bidders in the Middle East. Simply type in halal, organ harvesting. Families are separated, and children are also put into these boarding schools. According to the West, there are about 3 to 4 million Uyghur Muslims in these camps. But according to China's own media, that they were proud to say that they were rounding up 1.3 million Muslims for the past 6 years. Do your mathematics. That's almost 8 million Muslims. According to Chinese sources, there are only 11 to 12 million Uyghurs in Chinese-occupied Uzbekistan, Uyghuristan. 8 million people, that's almost everybody. And nothing, and right on Pakistan's border, and silence. And they are criticizing a country which they should, but all the way in France. I mean, what's happening to the Muslims in France? They can still pray, they can still practice Islam.